and I'll actually start with that. Well, hi everyone. Welcome to Wild the podcast. I'm Diana, and I'm joined here with Alicia Donovan. Unfortunately, Ashton can't be joining us due to everything that happened with her home burning down, and it was a devastating tragedy. We're hoping that she can come back and host when she's ready. But it's all about rebuilding, recovery, and just having that space that she really needs. And we're here to support her, and I carry on the torch without her. So, anyway, welcome everyone. This is Wild the podcast. I'm here with Alicia Donovan, who is an entrepreneur, photographer, and I lost my notes, so bear with me. I apologized because she's so amazing. I just wanted to read all of this, kind of everything written. It's a little blog. So Alicia Lynn Donovan is a wife, public servant, entrepreneur, photographer, artist, blogger, and a novelist who currently lives near Austin, Texas. As a professional photographer, she has been featured in Houston Press and Notender Photography magazine. She authored an article on how photographers can contribute to preserving national parks, which included her landscape photographers taking various national parks across southwestern United States. But mainly, she's also an author of The Opposite of Oppressed. It is her greatest achievement to date, and I can't wait to dive into that conversation about how she recovered from trauma and wrote this amazing book. We're gonna dive in right now into that conversation right here on Wild the podcast, which airs live on Just TV, 24/7 Roku TV, 101 TV, NCG Television Network, Meta TV, and www.jessfm.ca. Wild the podcast is proudly sponsored by Wild Homes and Gardens magazine and Borderline, a poetic memoir published by Wild Press and available on Amazon CA. Each copy sold helps us further our cause of sharing inspiring stories for free. If you wish to be a guest on Wild the podcast, please email us at hello@wildhomesandgardens.com. Alicia, let's get into it.
Absolutely.
So, I think my main question is, how did you find your healing through everything you've been through? And it's a lot. Um, how did you find your voice, which is so potent? And I mean, I love the title of your book, Opposite of Oppressed. That got me hooked immediately. So, can you kind of just dive in with that introduction and the
Of
story
course.
behind it?
Yeah. Throughout my life, I have experienced counseling from a young age, about 15 years old, off and on. But this past 2 years, I found an amazing EMDR counselor. And
Mm-hmm.
EMDR is rapid eye movement. Basically, it is a form of uh, counseling to help people that are experiencing trauma, mostly used with people in the military, used with people that have endured, abuse of some kind. And it really, really helped me to be able to see what I had been through, but
Mm-hmm.
through new eyes. It's really difficult to explain it unless you've done it. Um, I know the first time I went in, I had talked to her about an experience that I had when I was really young. And just by going through that first session, I was able to envision a new way to look at what I had experienced and kind of take some of that fear and anxiety out of those moments. I still remembered and I still was able to see what had happened, but it just wasn't as traumatic. So
Mm-hmm.
I think anybody that's going through those kind of traumas, it's definitely something to look into and at least give it a shot.
Yeah.
It's it's really changed my life. It really has. But my dad died last October,
Oh,
and
that's
part,
a lot.
yeah, part a part of what started my journey writing the book is my dad was a little bit of a source of my trauma.
Mhm.
And so when he passed, I was actually able to write things down, get it out, and feel like it was okay to share now.
That you couldn't have been done while he was alive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
I
I
can
was
understand that. I can completely I feel you so much
right.
on that. I don't want to dive into me, but I feel that.
Yeah, it's I think sometimes when your trauma is related to someone that you know or that is that close to you, you have this protection mechanism that you don't
Hmm.
want to hurt someone even if they've hurt you.
Yeah,
And so I don't know. I think it was just not that people didn't know that, my dad had issues, but I don't know. I think it was just easier for me to get it out at that point when I knew I
yeah,
wasn't going to be causing him any kind of embarrassment,
yeah.
wanted or not.
And yeah, exactly. I understand, I was very cautious with writing, my own story and what I was putting into this memoir, what I wasn't, and how I really approached the delicate subject of my dad, because I knew in back of my head he's probably going to be the first person that finds it and reads it, no matter where we are in our relationship. And it's one of those, again, delicate things, and that you kind of want to be protective, and you want to say, but I'm not ready, and
Yeah.
it's really layered. So I completely understand what you mean and how you came to terms with it.
Yeah. So my dad, it's hard. My dad was an alcoholic,
Hmm.
and we think also probably dabbled in a few other things.
Hmm.
Um, Not for sure. I mean, I couldn't say that for sure because I didn't see it myself, but certain things had occurred over the years where it's like, okay, that's more than alcohol.
Yeah.
So he was never sexually abusive to me. He really wasn't even as physically abusive to me as he was to my mother and my brothers.
Hmm.
And
But it's hard seeing that play out
yes,
as a child.
yes,
It's
yes,
so incredibly hard. I can't stress how hard it is, because even if it's not happening to you, and when you're a kid and your parents are fighting,
yes,
it is devastating.
yes.
And it just, you feel so much of it that maybe it's your fault, and you begin to kind of really live in that.
Yes. And to me, I'll tell you exactly how it made me feel. I grew up in a I don't know how your home was, but mine was very conservative.
Hmm.
And so there was always that you need to learn how to do these things to be a good wife one day, to be a good mother one day,
Yeah.
to basically take care of
Yeah.
your man,
Well,
right?
I was born in the former Soviet Union, so that
Oh,
kind of
so
really, that was kind of like,
ingrained. Yes.
no, my parents didn't have to say it. It's something I watched, growing up,
Yes.
with grandparents and traditional weddings and just all of that, that it was so much embedded in the culture. And I really had a hard time to distinguishing um what I wanted, or who I wanted to be as a woman, because I really believed my worth was really dependent on finding a husband.
Yes. And I'll tell you what, I was a I we're like sisters, I swear.
Yes.
Because to me, right, growing up in that situation and then seeing how my father was so abusive to my mother and so degrading to my mother, that it made me feel being the only girl as, oh, I'm not worth anything either.
No.
And my worth is only going to be valid if it is tied to me pleasing a
Mm-hmm.
man. The
Yes.
problem with that is when you do that to your children and you make them feel like their worth is tied to how they make someone else feel, you
Mm-hmm.
spend your whole life feeling oppressed by everyone else around you. Because if you're not doing what the man wants you to do, even if what the man wants you to do is wrong, if you're not doing what the man wants you to do and making him happy, you've lost value, or
Yes.
you're not valuable, or that man is
Yes.
telling you you're not valuable and you're believing it,
Yes, absolutely.
right?
Believing every word, whatever, and
Yes,
even twisting. He
yes,
can mean something even not bad. It doesn't matter. You will twist it in your head and turn it into something incredibly horrible and negative, and
yes,
it's all your fault anyway. Just for breathing, and
yes,
just for even thinking.
yes. And it's more than damaging, right? Because you develop this. It's not an insecurity like most men think. Oh, you're just insecure, right? No,
Hmm.
it's not an insecurity of your looks. It's not an insecurity of who you are as a person because you know who you are as a person. It's an insecurity of that back to when you were a child. My worth is somehow tied to how happy you are. So you're constantly asking, are you happy? Am I doing the right things? All of that is tied to this little girl
Yeah.
that grew up watching a man basically tear somebody down all the time if they weren't exactly what that person wanted.
Hmm.
And so that was a hard part. But I will say that reading my book, um, it's for everybody. I don't want to give the impression that my book is fully about being oppressed in a relationship or being
Yeah.
oppressed by my father. It touches on being oppressed by, your stature in life,
Hmm.
and if you're poor or not, which happened to me when I was a child, where people on the school bus would come
Yeah.
and pick me up in the morning and see that I was in a manufactured home and they had these big elaborate houses. So I was
Yeah.
immediately not important, not worth it,
Yeah.
just trash, really.
Yeah.
And that's really where they put me.
And then you're also demeaning yourself too, and your worth,
Yes,
and you're measuring. And
yes,
when you're living l- less and you see luxury, because I sent
yes.
myself to private school, so the kids I went to private school were next level. The school is now $60,000 a year.
Ooh, wow.
um yeah, it's a boarding school. It's top notch, elite. And when I went there, honestly, just going into one of those homes and seeing like their murals just painted in the bathroom,
Yeah.
tennis courts and pools, it just hit me. I am not worthy.
Right?
Like, I I don't know how to maneuver through this because I am so stunned and so not worthy. This is so out of my element, and especially coming from the former Soviet Union, this is completely like
Yeah.
out of anything, complete like shock. And that really toys with, your emotional stability and
It
who
does.
how you value yourself, or how you see scarcity, or how you see financial well-being, all of it.
Yes. Yes. And so when I was trying to come up with a title for the book, um, when you read it, you see that it's not just this one kind of oppression, right? It's relationship, it's culture, it's religion from some people's aspect of religion, I should say. It's being oppressed by not having money when I was a kid. It
Hmm.
was oppressed by people thinking I was one thing and then realizing later, maybe as adults, that I wasn't, but I was
Yeah.
still judged by their opinion of what they
Hmm.
thought they knew. And so there was all these different types of ways that I felt oppressed. Think though, a very important part of the book is the secondary title, because I wanted people to see that this wasn't a book just about, oh, this is the sad girl stories, right?
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
wanted them to see that it was a book to help others so that they understood that all these things might be oppressing you, right? Men included. Men are
Oh,
oppressed
so
by
much.
cultural, expectations of
Well,
height or
throw in
money,
society.
right?
Society can be oppressing you. Growing up in the
Yes,
90s and early 2000s, that in its own was completely different to where we are now, the conversations we're having. I'm
yes,
grateful for the conversations we're having, but there was so much that went into even just childhoods where you girls have to be quiet and there's this
yes,
etiquette and you need to be
yes.
proper and you need to just listen and obey. And when you're listening and obeying, that is a form of oppression. Nobody's giving you
Oh, yeah,
choices. Nobody's saying, do you want this? Do you not want this?
yeah. It's devaluing. It's devaluing because it's basically saying your voice isn't worth being heard, minus, right? So
Yeah.
it's a way of pushing you down and making
Hmm.
you feel like maybe what was important to you, because it's not important to them, it isn't important.
It isn't important. So then you don't value your own importance, the intuition or whatever voice says, but I want to do this. Then you say you can't do that because it's not important. You
Yes.
have to be this type of child. You have to be the good girl. You have to be this. If you have desires outside of that, that's not good. For me, I just rebelled against it completely and went into the deep dove into addiction and a complete crazy. Whew, wow, I sometimes can't believe that was me, but that was me. Like
Yeah,
it's just, but it was the battle for me that got me, and then I was
yeah.
finally, well, you know what? If I am not never gonna be good enough, then okay, let me show you how bad I can be.
That's right. And even if it's not that, even if it's somebody that takes another path and says, "Okay, if I'm not enough for you, then I'm going to find a way to be enough for me."
Yep.
However that
Oh
looks.
yeah.
And a lot of times it is. I know it's probably the same for you, but when you go through this kind of trauma, you start realizing how different you are from all the people that you know and all the people that you grew up with, because you rebelled so hard that you became another person
Yeah.
that you could be happy with, right?
Hmm.
So the how I liberated myself, the second part of my title, is those little vignettes throughout and in the
Hmm.
end that show girls you don't have to be stuck. You don't have to cower and make sure that he's happy without making sure that you're happy, because that's not love. That's
No,
not love.
it's not.
It's
It's
oppression.
absolutely not.
Yeah, it's oppression. It's how can I say it best? For me, it was find somebody that loves and accepts you. And when
Hmm.
it didn't work and I got too miserable and they were too damaging, I left. Rightfully so. Because don't let anybody damage you or hurt you to that point, right? But there was
Right.
still always that part of me that was like, okay, I still need to find somebody though that accepts me for who I
Hmm.
am.
For who
So,
you really are. And
yes,
then the other question is, who am I really after
yes,
the trauma?
yes, yes. And it took me a really long time. It took me until I was, 35 to find the right person. It took
Hmm.
me until I was in my 40s to finish my education and do something for myself to make my life be what I considered successful, what I considered would give me the life that I wanted, where I wouldn't have to be tied to
Hmm.
someone ever,
Yeah.
I would be with somebody for love and not for what they could provide for me, right?
Yes, it's so
Right?
important after surviving that fight,
Mhm.
because it's so codependent, right? That financial
Yes,
aspect, 'cause it's such a huge control. I
yes.
didn't have control of any finances. Like, I didn't know. I'm like, oh, I'm just bad at math. What? I took calculus, I got exempt out of college math because I was an English major, and I exempt out of um the test. Like, I took the test, I exempt out of it. So how horrible am I at math that I can't? And yet that was my slogan. I'm just
Yeah.
so bad. He does every.
And that is another form of oppression, right? Because they treat you as though, oh, you can't do that, I do that. You can't do that, you wouldn't be okay. When we know better, right? Because
Yes.
we've done it by ourselves alone and we know better. So, kind of like we were talking, a while
Yep.
ago, it's a form of gaslighting. It's a form
Hmm.
of control. And unfortunately, society does it, politics does it,
Yeah.
people around us do it. There's just a lot of ways that we can be oppressed, and we need to make sure that we're not allowing people to control our narrative, right?
Yeah.
We need to control our narrative. And that's part of both of us writing books, right?
Yeah.
We controlled our
It's the
own
control of the narrative and
narrative.
saying,
Yes,
here's my truth. After I wrote my book, a lot of it was like, what if he reads it? You know, what if other people read it? And how is that what are they gonna think of me? And then I realized it doesn't matter, because this is my memoir. These are my
that's right.
memories.
That's right.
I'm acknowledging I'm also, I'm taking accountability, and I'm taking my responsibility. I'm not saying that I was this innocent
Right.
girl. There are instances where I was completely fully aware of what was happening, and I was just too high. I loved
Yeah.
the high, and I thought that was it for the rest of my life. This is how I'm going to live my life. This is it. It explains, I can work with this mind. I have this person. This is our life together. That's it. And so when it all fell apart, um, I had to completely relearn everything, and who I am, who's not high, and can I trust myself to even, write the book. When I turned 30, I had my daughter, and I dreamt of writing the book. I always dreamt of writing a book.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always wondered if I struggled enough to make myself a good writer. So when I hit 30, I gave birth to my daughter, and I was like, I'd love to write a book, but who knows? I'm so unstable on in balance that I don't know if I can even get a chapter out. I can't imagine doing it. But I set a goal. I said, okay, just for fun, let's do a 10-year thing. By the time I'm 40, I'll write a book. Um, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the healing. Maybe there's power of manifestation. By 40, I published a book. So I did it, and somehow everything aligned that helped me do it.
Well,
And
Diana, I loved your book. I really
oh,
did.
thank you so much.
I loved the fact that you were able to show it in a way that was interesting, that was almost theater in a way. And I'm a very art person, right?
Yep.
So I got my art degree first.
Hmm.
As a professional photographer, I went to school and I got my art degree, and then I
Yes, I
went,
want I want to get into your
yeah,
photography. I wish
okay,
Ashton was here, because she's the photographer,
sure.
and she's the one who created the amazing magazine that I'm pretty sure I'm sitting on, and I can't find it right now, and I don't want to take up too much time looking for it. But yeah, she's really amazing, brilliant with the camera. I wish she was here joining us. She'd have tons of questions. But yes, photography. I wanna. Was
Yeah,
that your first passion? Did
it
you
was.
always have that eye?
Well, I don't know if it was my first. So, yeah and no. So, ever since I was a kid, I wrote poetry. My mother could
Hmm.
probably share poems that I wrote when I was a little kid. Like, I was
Oh,
probably
I feel you. Yes, I feel
6
you on
or
that.
7,
Yeah, I feel you.
maybe. Like,
Yeah.
I always thought I would write a poetry book because I loved Where the Sidewalk Ends. It was
Hmm.
like my favorite book as a kid. And so I loved writing, but then when I got my first camera, I couldn't put it down. I absolutely loved running around taking pictures of everything.
Yeah.
And I loved the outdoors because I didn't have a lot of friends and I wasn't really accepted. And then I had the situation at home, and so I didn't really ever want to leave my room. So I would go outside, and I'm not a princess girl. I had three little boys growing up with me, my three brothers. And so I was a little less the doll girl and a little more jewelry and stuff, yes, but
Yeah.
more, more outside. So I'd go outside and I'd sing to the birds, and I just wanted to take pictures of everything, but it's not
Hmm.
like I could go buy a bunch of film or anything.
Yeah.
When I got older though, and I could do it finally because I have an amazing husband that gave me that opportunity, I thought, okay, my first goal is to be published. I want to be a published journalist. That's what I always wanted to do.
Hmm.
My high school talked me out of it. Girls don't do that. That's a dangerous job, right? Because they send them to wars and all those things to take
Yeah.
photos.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. That's not for girls. That kind of tells you my age. But but so when I got to do it, I started with families and stuff because obviously, you need to make money while you're doing it. But I love doing landscape. And so I have the photos of the national parks spread out throughout my house that I've taken. And I don't know why, but I was just drawn to dead trees. And it sounds so weird, but it's because it's that living thing that still has existed even after its death, and it's
Hmm.
still there in this beautiful setting, just shining like this, I don't know, leftover piece of nature that just never really fully goes away.
Hmm.
And so I used them as my focal point as I did the photos throughout the
Yeah.
national parks. And I'll have to share one with you one day.
Yeah, that would be so amazing. I'd love to see them. We
Of
could even
course.
somehow figure out a way to share with any of the viewers who'd be interested, but we're gonna send them to your websites.
Yeah.
Um, so anyone that's listening, we have about, I want to say, 15 minutes left.
Okay.
So in those 15 minutes, I do want to take the end time and really, share your book where they can purchase your book. I love the
Awesome.
title. It is what drew me to you on the face.
Aw.
We randomly connected, but it was the title, and I was like, opposite of oppressed. Oh, I feel this like in my bones, and just your story, your writing. It's very potent. It's poignant, and I don't know what I really wanted to say. I just wanted to praise you for a minute.
Well, I appreciate that. It's hard for me to take props, I guess, because I'm one of those people that's kind of a perfectionist. So I'm always like, oh, I could have done this better. I could have done
Oh,
that
I
better.
feel you. I'm actually going
Right?
through that right now with my book.
Oh,
I'm questioning things. I think maybe I went a little too creative. Why wasn't I just
no.
using, the regular talk? Like I got too much into Sylvia Plath, a little too much into this, and then I completely tried to break it apart, and
No, you
so
did
I completely
amazing.
feel you on that.
But we're our worst critics, right?
Of
We really
course,
are.
yes.
We're our worst critics, but I think that's what makes us successful sometimes is when you are your worst critic, you put out the best product that you can.
Well, yeah, but, you do analyze it so much. And then even if you
Yes.
made mistakes in the first or whatever, writing is a journey. I
Yes.
think for me, at least, I know that I have one down. I know I have one more to go. And it's a learning curve too. So
It is.
healing, learning, just all of it. It's just like breathing for me, when I write. It's like
Yeah.
I feel whole.
Yeah, me too. Um, for me, it really was therapy. Like we talked earlier, it
Yeah.
really was. It was a way of saying what I needed to say without saying it to the person I needed to say it to, knowing that
Hmm.
they may eventually be able to read it on their own.
Yes, there's
And I
that also. Like, if
what?
they read it, how do you feel
Yeah.
about them reading it? Because you know their take is gonna be probably, I'm gonna burn the book. Like, that's what I imagine, right?
I'm okay with them burning the book. I could really care
Yeah,
less.
I've come to terms with that. Like, it is your story. These are your memories. These are how
Yes.
they're embedded in your head, and you're just like, I'm so tired of them replaying on this crazy loop
Yes.
that please let me release it.
Yes, yes. And really it does. It allows you to. Writing it down allows you to let it go, right?
Yeah.
It allows you to say what you needed to say, maybe not to that person's face, but say what you needed to say, get it out, and allows you to move forward. And that's all we really need, right? We just need to be able to move forward, and ending each one of my vignettes with what I did to move forward was my way of hopefully not just connecting and helping people that maybe feel unheard, but also to allow them a possible mechanism to do it themselves, to say, oh, well, she did it, so I can do it too.
Hmm.
And that's what I hope they get out of it. I hope it is a red beacon,
Yeah.
blinking that says, "Oh, don't do that. Let's stay away from that. Let's
Oh
move the
yeah.
other way."
Absolutely. I absolutely.
Or a mother or a father might read it and say, "Oh, I don't want my kid to feel that way.
Hmm.
I don't want to. Don't argue in front of them. Don't fight in front of them. Don't do this in front of them because this might destroy this part of them that I don't want to destroy." But you were
Yeah,
asking me where to find the book. And that is on
I was.
Amazon
Yes.
for right now. So Amazon is where I started. I wanted to
Hmm.
give everybody the opportunity to get to it. I hope to also put it in stores and maybe eventually into like Barnes and Noble online. But for now,
Yeah.
it's just on Amazon and with me. So
Okay.
they can go
Awesome.
to
Yeah.
my
And
website.
if you share the link, I'll make a post
Okay,
after, so we'll have something to share. We'll have a few posts sharing around, obviously, for anyone that's missing us and then can catch up with us on YouTube.
yeah,
We
yeah.
have various options so people can continue to tune in and listen to your amazing story of really survival and resilience and finding yourself and making yourself whole. And I remember when I was healing and I was really struggling, I really felt like this was a whole like a cliche. Like, it wasn't like positive thinking was just the cliche. Like, nobody actually did it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't understand how it's possible. And I think we have about 10 minutes left for the viewers who are listening, who are struggling, who can possibly think it is cliche. What would you say to
It's not. It's definitely not.
them?
Right? It's having the ability to look past what people are doing to you and learn to value yourself and know that you're worth more than what other people try to make you out to be. And it took me a long time, a really long time, a lot longer than I would have hoped, right? I'm
Hmm.
51 years old, the end of this week actually. And honestly, it took me all of 50 years to get to the point that I'm at right now. It definitely did. But looking back, I don't regret anything that I ever did because it led me to where I am now. I'm
Yep.
not sure that I would be this successful person had I not endured something in my life. And we all do. We all have those things that make us feel oppressed. Every man, woman, child, I don't care who you
Oh, of
are,
course.
you
Yes.
have something, right, that has
Hmm.
oppressed you, whether it be someone in school or something that happened to you on the bus or your neighbor or your partner or God forbid, like us, a parent or
Hmm.
both parents or, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. but there's something in your life that can make you feel weighed down and heavy. And you have to learn to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I'm worth more than this. And I'm not going to let anyone tell me that I'm not. And you just have to fight for it. And I
You have to
promise
fight for
you,
that feeling. You have to
yes,
convince yourself.
you
I
do.
used to tell myself I'm almost brainwashing myself,
Yes,
but in a good way, because I really needed to switch that mind. It's hard when there's so much self-hate to turn on this magic. It's hard. It's a
yes,
huge process. I remember I struggled with it. I wonder how people who would, when Me Too movement came out, I wondered how are they so open about sharing their experiences? How are they able to say, I was raped in the smooth sentence, and then immediately be like, but now I'm this amazing person, and I'm like, what? How did you do that?
and I
I
wasn't
can't get
able to do
past
that.
it. I
Oh,
couldn't get.
I wasn't able to do that. I'm sure you have, I've read your book. So, you have experiences like that too. I wasn't able to do that. It took me, when that happened to me, I was 15.
Hmm.
And I didn't get past that till this year. And I'm
Oh
almost 51.
wow.
Yeah, I'm
That
almost
that is
51.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
amazing that you did. You're here. It's
yeah,
such a huge trauma.
I don't know that you ever really get past it. I
Yeah.
think you learn to see it differently. You learn to see that it wasn't
I
your
think
fault.
that's it. I don't,
Mhm,
yes. But you
mhm.
don't get, I don't, it never gets simpler when you revisit it. Yes, I don't have anxiety when I revisit those moments. I have tears for this girl that it's happening to, because, it's such a horrendous experience that
Yes.
it's,
Yeah.
it's, I have a daughter. It's my worst fear that something like that could happen to her. I fear it on such a huge level. I can't even explain it. Like I have PTSD over it. Just happens.
Yeah.
um but yeah, it's just one of those, such a horrible thing that really messes with the mind. And um the process of reclaiming yourself and all of it, it never goes away. You will always feel sadness in those moments. You might not be triggered to have a panic attack or freak out or spiral
Mhm.
into depression. None of that may be happening, but
Yeah.
it's still so
Yes,
brutal.
it is. And I think that you said it right. It's more of not just not blaming yourself, but realizing that it is going to be something that you deal with for the rest of your life, and you need to be able to just go day by day realizing you didn't do anything wrong. You're
Mhm.
not a bad person, that you can't control other people, and that you need to look at yourself as the person you've always been before and after, and that not let that person change you, not
Yeah,
allow that person to, what they did to you, to control how you are now.
yeah.
And it took me a long time. Like I
Oh
said,
yeah,
it took me a really long time. But and I still deal with it sometimes. I still have nightmares sometimes. I still think about it sometimes. But it's better now. It's a lot
yeah.
better now because I can look back and say, you were 15. You weren't
Oh
driving.
yes.
You couldn't control it. You were in the middle of nowhere. He took you out to fields. There was nowhere to run. There was nowhere to go. You couldn't scream because nobody would hear you. So it was a lot. It was a lot to
Well,
take.
also, even if you could, let's say, your body goes through this freezing flight. You're in
Yes.
survival mode because it is an attack on you, and
Yes.
you are still a child. I'm
Yes.
sorry, 15 to me right now, at 41, I look at a 15, that's a child.
Yes.
My daughter's turning 11. That's someone 4 years older than her. That's a child. I
Yeah.
can't. So that happening, it happened to me at a very young age too. I was about, what, 13, 14. My first experience was around 12 with a stock. Like it was that age group where I was really going through this puberty, and it all happened kind of like at once, and it shook me to my core. It stole everything from me.
Yeah. 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 It does. It does. And then people wonder why you're a different person, and it takes a while to get back to the person that
To
you
get it
really
back and to
yeah.
find that strength and say it wasn't my fault, because there's so much shame. Then it happened to me again when I was about 18, 19. Um, and again, there was just like my friend, I told my friend, and she said to me, well, why didn't you yell, scream, fight, run away? I said I froze. She said, well, you wanted it. Come on, you want it. And that you
Oh,
didn't get raped. And so I was, and so to me, that moment again set me into such a that's when, after that, I fell off completely. I fell
yeah.
off in college. I spiraled. I married um my dealer, my pimp, however you
Yeah.
want to call
Yeah.
it. And
I
so,
understand. I understand. I'll tell you what, that's why I wrote the entry to my book the way I did. I am a
hmm
victim, right?
yep.
I wrote, I am a victim, but if you continue reading, you also see that I am a survivor, whether I
hmm
say survivor or not. And I explain that just because I'm a victim doesn't mean that it was something that I asked for.
No.
And it's, you may view me a certain way, but you don't know me. And until you learn to know me, then you don't get the choice to oppress me because of your views or your thought process or how you
Yeah.
like me. And that's
Yeah.
what I want all people to think, not just girls, but especially
Yeah.
girls.
And I mean, with a healing journey with trauma, I feel like you go through a phase where, yes, you're the victim. Then well, I'd rather say reclaim yourself, the bits
Yeah,
and pieces you begin to reclaiming, where you can kind of go into, okay, maybe I'm a survivor now. Life
yeah,
is not happening at me. I can control, I can take accountability, because as a victim, sometimes you just can't,
that's
because
right.
it's all
That's right.
happening. You're in survival mode. You don't know. It's crazy chaos.
Yes.
And it's not a joyful experience.
No, 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 it's
Nobody
not.
wants to be in it. Nobody wants to run around having that victim mentality. It's hard, because but you are the victim.
Yeah,
You're going through this experience because you were hurt due to this traumatic experience. So you are the victim. You're allowed to be the victim, but it's a hard process to even grasp when you're in it, I think.
yeah, it is. It very much is. You're right. Absolutely. Before we go, I just wanted to thank you, by the way, for giving me the opportunity to speak with you and to get to know
Oh,
you.
you're so
And
amazing. I am
oh,
so happy you came on. I'm so happy we connected. I would actually love to invite you to come back. Maybe we can do a little like chapter reading from your book. I really want to give it more credit. I know we did this whole kind of overall introduction of you, which I think was brilliant, but I like diving into deeper little
oh
conversations
yeah,
and bringing guests back on air. So absolutely would love you to come back, maybe towards the winter time, however your schedule is, and do it again.
that sounds great. Maybe we can do it during one of those months of, you know, let's help women or
Yes.
let's help victims. And in some of
Yes.
those months that are dedicated that way, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, we can do that. We can, I mean, for me, these conversations are just so important that I want to reach as many people as I can. And I want all victims to come out and have the ability to share their story. This not
Yeah,
forcefully, just if you want to,
yeah,
it's, let's get those conversations started. This is the time. It's now or never. There's so many victims. There's so many survivors. There's so
yeah.
much.
And it's important to give them a voice that they didn't have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Of
being on
course.
Wild the podcast. Thank you for your time and just this amazing connection. I really appreciate you. I appreciate your writing. And I look forward to having you back on Wild the podcast.
Well, thank you so much, Diana. And I loved your book as well. I will probably end up reading it a second time because it's just so interesting and learning
Oh,
about
I
where you come
appreciate
from.
that. I
So,
appreciate you. I love feedback. Even if
oh,
it's bad, I'll
good.
take it. I love all various types of feedback. I learned from it. So I really appreciate it. I really loved your book as well, your stories. I mean, just you have a poignant voice, and I really
Nice.
appreciated reading that and connecting it. I felt like we have the soulful connection. I don't even want to let you go now. So
Hey, you can call me later. I promise I'll answer.
we'll do it off air. Well,
Sounds
thank you
great.
so much, everyone that was
Thank
tuning
you.
in. Thank you for listening. This was Wild the podcast that airs on Just TV, airing on 101.com, NCG Television Network, 24/7 Roku TV, and Meta TV. Everyone, thank you for listening. Until next time, please, please, please love yourselves and really take care of each other. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great night.
You'll find your way back up. This I know. Lion heart, lion heart.